Pressed flowers are beautiful, but arranging them inside a shape can get messy fast. One petal sticks out, one stem shifts, the edges look uneven, and suddenly the silhouette is hard to see. But one simple trick makes this so much easier. It helps me place every flower with a purpose, and it keeps the final silhouette looking clean, even when the flower edges underneath aren't perfect. Hello, everyone. Jennifer Maker here. It's a beautiful day to make pressed flower silhouettes. I'm going to show you how to make different styles with real dried flowers and cardstock. And I'll share the simple system I use so the flowers look intentional instead of scattered. I call it anchor, flow, filler, and frame. And don't worry, I'll show you exactly what each one means as we build our first design. Without a plan, even pretty flowers can make the shape look random. But with this method, we get a clean silhouette and a flower arrangement that feels balanced, polished, and frame-worthy. I'll show this approach in 3 designs: a fuller bird that teaches flow, a solid cat that teaches scale, and a lighter butterfly that teaches restraint, symmetry, and use of white space. I'm using pressed flowers, white cardstock, an 8x10 frame, tweezers, and different glues depending on the floral composition I want. More on that later. I also use my Cricut to cut the clean silhouette window and draw my secret tool, but the main lesson today is really how to arrange the flowers. You can find my free pressed flower silhouette files in my library as design number 817. There are SVG files for cutting machines, plus PDF files if you want to print and use them as a guide. Plus, there's a written tutorial on how to prepare and cut everything in Cricut Design Space. Now let me show you the trick. I'm not arranging flowers across the whole page and hoping they look good when I put everything together. Instead, I'm arranging them on this guide layer, then checking them under the silhouette window so only the prettiest parts show through. That outline doesn't show in the finished project. It's just there to help me place the flowers. Think of it like training wheels for composition. When the top layer goes on, it crops the flowers and hides the edges. So if a stem goes a little outside the shape or a petal overlaps in a messy way, that's okay. The window does the cleanup for us. I'll keep the full Cricut setup in the written tutorial so we can focus here on choosing, placing, and gluing the flowers. If you want the details, visit JenniferMaker.com/817. You can also cut and draw the shapes by hand, especially if you start with simple designs. No matter how you make your layers, the flowers will be the real stars. I bought dried flowers and leaves online since I had a lot of testing to do to pick the right glues and techniques, but you can also dry your own. Just make sure they're totally dry and very flat. If you want me to teach you how to dry your own flowers, let me know in the comments. I like to sort my flowers by color, size, and shape so I can make better design choices before anything is glued. Use tweezers so the petals don't tear and be very gentle. A breeze can sweep away your hard work, so be careful. Now let's start composing with the guide layer and silhouette window. It's important to test your composition without glue first, so you can adjust anything as you go. For the bird, I like to think about the body in sections. I'm drawn to longer flowers in the tail because they help suggest feathers and movement. Then I can keep the belly a little lighter and add some contrast in the wing. Sticking to a few colors will make the design look more intentional. I'll use mostly blues and whites for the bird. This design also teaches us how flowers can create direction and shape, since we're almost recreating feathers. Different flowers can fill different needs in your designs. Larger flowers are good anchors. They're the first flowers I place because they take up the most space and create the main structure. I'll add lighter flowers through the belly area. This gives the bird some shape and keeps it from becoming one flat block of color. Leaves and stems are great for directional flow. They help guide the eye through the shape. These longer flowers and stems naturally flow toward the tail, which helps the bird feel like it has feathers instead of just a pile of flowers. And remember, we'll only see what's within the silhouette window, so it's okay for petals to go beyond the guide. Now I'll bring in blue flowers for the back and wing. I like adding a little contrast here because it helps define different parts of the bird. I want to really fill the bird's shape and avoid white space to get the look I want, so overlapping some flowers will help. Tiny flowers and little petals are good for fillers and details. They help cover small gaps, define details, or soften transitions between colors. And if you want the bird to be really recognizable, add an eye. So my system is anchor, flow, filler, and frame. Anchor with the larger flowers, create flow with stems and leaves, fill gaps with smaller pieces, and then use the silhouette window to frame what actually shows. Let's check what we'll actually see again. This is the key sneak peek. Underneath, this can look a little wild. Through the window, it suddenly looks intentional. When you're happy with the rough composition, take a picture for reference because now we need to move the flowers to add the glue. Since this design has limited white space, I'll use matte Mod Podge with a small foam brush. But here's the important part. I'm not brushing glue over the whole bird at once. This is where a lot of pressed flower projects go sideways. Too much glue too soon. Instead, I'll work in small sections. I'm starting with the tail, so I'll gently move those flowers just outside the guide area. Then I'll brush on a thin, smooth layer of matte Mod Podge inside the outline. The key word here is thin. Too much wet adhesive can make delicate petals wrinkle, shift, or even release color, especially if the flowers are dyed. So use less than you think you need. Now I'll place the flowers back into the glue, one at a time. If one shifts, I can gently move it while the Mod Podge is still wet. I'll adjust gently so the petals don't tear. For fuller designs like this, a little overlap is helpful. I can tuck one petal under another or layer a smaller flower over a transition area using my weeding tool. That helps the colors blend instead of looking separate or like stickers. I'll keep working around the bird in small sections, adding glue, placing flowers, and checking the shape. If a flower tears or just doesn't look right, gently scrape it off if you can. Then just put a new one in its place. Remember to stay flexible. This isn't meant to be perfect. Once the big flowers are in place, use the tiny ones to fill in any gaps or help with transitions. A small flower is also perfect for the eye. Just check with the top window before you glue it. A tiny shift makes a big difference here. If the eye is too high, too low, or hidden under the cardstock, the bird won't read correctly. And now when I place the top silhouette layer over the arrangement, we get that clean bird shape. The flowers still feel organic and handmade, but the edge looks crisp and polished. And there's our bird. Isn't he cute? Mine is a bluebird, but you can use different flowers to create any bird you want. I love how the flowers' colors and textures let you turn a simple shape into real or fantastical ideas. Now that we've used flowers for flow with the bird's feathers, let's explore using them for scale. We'll use the same method, but on a new problem. The cat has big open spaces and tiny detail areas, so choosing the right flower size makes a big difference here. For the cat, I'll fill the body first, then use smaller flowers for the ears, tail, paws, and whisker area. Remember, we'll dry test before we glue. I'll start with the larger flowers through the main body. These are my anchors. Since the body has plenty of room, larger flowers help fill the space nicely. Then I'll switch to smaller flowers near the ears, tail, paws, and whisker area. If I use my biggest flowers in those narrow sections, a lot of the petals could disappear under the top layer and make the shape harder to read. Again, I'm checking with the top silhouette window and adjusting flowers as needed. This step is what keeps us from guessing. We can see what the finished design will look like before anything is permanent. Because this cat is also full coverage with limited white space, I'll use Mod Podge again, working in small sections. And if you notice a spot that feels too crowded, don't be afraid to remove a flower. Sometimes the best thing you can do for the composition is stop before it gets too crowded. Once the flowers are dry and the top silhouette layer is in place, the cat has that full floral look while still keeping a clean outer shape. I love how my cat came out. The petals almost look like stripes in some areas, so I got the orange tabby look I wanted. But what if you don't want a filled-in design? I want my butterfly to feel lighter than the bird or cat. Leaving visible white space will make the flowers more recognizable, but it will take some more planning and restraint. Believe me, it's worth it. We'll use a different glue too, and I'll show you why. I'll start with leafy pieces to create the wing structure. For a butterfly, symmetry matters more than it did for the bird or cat. Real butterfly wings match, but I just want ours to feel balanced. So when I place something on one wing, I look for a similar color, size, or shape to echo it on the other side. They don't have to match exactly. In fact, I think it looks more interesting when they're sisters, not twins. And remember to fill in the body and antennae a little more solidly so the butterfly shape stays recognizable. Just like we did with the bird and cat, check your progress with the top silhouette window. Even with this more open design, the window helps keep the butterfly shape clean and clear. The white space is part of the design here. It gives the flowers room to breathe, and it keeps the butterfly feeling delicate. That's why I'm switching adhesives. Mod Podge is helpful for fuller coverage, but small dots of high-quality craft glue keep the white space cleaner. I'm using Barely Art's Precision Craft Glue because the tip lets me control placement. When it's time to secure everything, I'll add just a small dot of glue to the thicker part of the flower or stem, then press it gently onto the cardstock. Since these flowers are spaced apart, I can either lift each one to add glue or add a tiny dot underneath while it stays in place. I don't need to coat every petal. I just need enough adhesive to hold the flower in place once it's framed. The butterfly takes time and some patience, but I really love the results. After the flowers are glued on your design, let everything dry completely. Before framing, I like to gently lift the cardstock and give it a very careful little shake over the table. If anything falls off or shifts, I'll secure it with a tiny bit more glue. Then I'll do one last visual check for any visible glue and make sure important details like the eye, ears, tail tips, and butterfly wing edges are still easy to see. The flowers will be held in place by the frame, so you don't have to coat them in adhesive. In fact, that can lead to bunched up petals and bleeding colors, so avoid extra glue. Now you can frame the layers in order. This is the moment where the project really comes together. The flowers become the color and texture, and the cardstock gives us that clean, crisp shape. And there they are, 3 different pressed flower silhouette styles. The bird and cat feel fuller and more painterly. The butterfly feels lighter, more delicate, and more intentional with white space. I love this project because it takes something delicate and a little unpredictable like flowers and gives them structure. And you don't need to be a floral designer, you just need a simple plan. Remember the system: anchor, flow, filler, and frame. Dry fit first, check with the window, glue in small sections, and let the top layer clean up the edges. And remember, you can get my free pressed flower silhouette designs in my library over at JenniferMaker.com/817. That's also where I have a written Cricut Design Space tutorial to share all the details if you need them. And if you love the framed look and want to make your own pressed flower art feel even more polished, I'll show you an upgraded version in my advanced program. In advance, I show you how to add a layered frame detail, align it with your silhouette, and choose frame colors that complement your flowers. You can learn more at JenniferMaker.com/advance. And of course, a Cricut or another cutting machine makes this project so much easier than trying to cut and draw the layers by hand, especially if you want a crisp silhouette edge. My written tutorial walks you through the full setup, step by step, including how to create the cutout window, make the flower guide with an offset, and keep the right operations together so the machine cuts one layer and draws the other. I'll show you what to check before cutting, like your layer order, attach settings, matte preview, and pen operation, because those tiny details are what keep the guide lined up with the window. So if you want to make these with your Cricut, be sure to visit JenniferMaker.com/817 for the full and free Design Space walkthrough. And if you don't have a Cricut, you can enter to win one at jennifermaker.com/Cricut giveaway. Or if you are already using a Cricut and something doesn't cut quite right, I've got help for that too. This project has delicate parts, especially the clean silhouette window and the flower guide layer, so crisp cuts really matter. If your cardstock tears, your blade drags, your mat is too sticky, or your cuts aren't as clean as you hoped, check out my Cricut Survival Guide. It's a real life problem based guide to help you figure out what's going wrong and get back to crafting with confidence. Be sure to visit CricketSurvivalGuide.com. So, are you excited to make your own pressed flower silhouette? I can't wait to see what you make. Please share it in our group or tag me on social media. I would love to see which silhouette you choose and how you arrange your flowers. And that's it for today. This is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.